Alright, hello everyone. This is question number 3 from your quiz from Friday. First thing I wanted to point out was that some of you didn't really read your directions super well. We noticed that some people tried to factor the standard form, and that's kind of already done for you because intercept form is right here. So please make sure to read your directions. You did a bunch of work when you didn't really need to. It's already right here. This is the factored intercept form. So because I already have that, I can just jump right into finding x-intercepts. Remember, intercepts are where it crosses one of the axes, or axes. In this case, the x-axis is what I'm looking for. And anytime I'm on the x-axis, this is 1, 0, negative 1, 0, negative 2, 0, 4, 0. They all have to be something, comma, 0, which means the y has to equal 0. So really what that means is I have to set each of these groups equal to 0 because I just said y has to equal 0. So I've got that equals 0 and that equals 0, and then hopefully it's a pretty easy process to figure out your intercepts. One of them is x equals 2, or you can even write negative 2 comma 0. Notice which order it goes in. And then if I follow the same kind of process over here, I get x equals negative 4, or I can put negative 4 comma 0. Please note that it is not negative 2 comma negative 4. That's not correct. So if you put that, you got that wrong. So in my x-intercepts, I can put either one of those. I'm going to put x equals negative 2, x equals negative 4, and I'll include the points just to be thorough. And then we'll go ahead and graph them. Negative 2 zeros right here, negative 4 zeros right there. Okay, I'm going to come back to, well, now let's do the y-intercept now. We'll do that real quick. Y-intercept, remember we just said the x-intercepts are where the graph crosses the x-axis, so it's when y equals 0. If I find any point on the y-axis though, because I'm looking for my y-intercept now, this would be 0, 1, this is 0, 2, 0, 3. You get the picture, right? Every time I'm on the y-axis, x has to equal 0. All right, well, if x is equaling 0, you can even make a little note for yourself. This is where x equals 0. That's how you find this. Okay, so in green over here, I'm going to solve that. And I'm going to do it with the standard form one, actually. So I'm solving for y. But this time it's x equals 0. So I have 0 squared plus 6 times 0 plus 8. So y equals 0 plus 0 plus 8, which means my y-intercept is just positive 8. So I can either put y equals 8 or I can put 0 comma 8. And then it goes right here. There's my y-intercept. Alright, so backtracking now, axis of symmetry, remember this is in the middle of your x-intercepts. It's got to be in the middle of the parabola overall, and remember x-intercepts have to be the same distance from each other, so axis of symmetry should be right smack dab in the middle. Okay, well the middle of negative 2 and negative 4 is negative 3. And some of you need to be a bit more specific when you're labeling. Remember we talked about it's not just negative 3. Okay, negative 3 could be here or it could be here. So you do need to be specific. It's cutting through the x-axis at negative 3, which means the axis of symmetry is x equals negative 3. By the way, if you're just kind of blindly listening to this and just writing down as you go, you're not really doing any good. Make sure to write down some extra notes for yourself. Feel free to pause, put down some writing on the side if you need to. That's fine as well. Alright, the last part, the vertex, I can't really draw my parabola yet. I need the vertex down here somewhere. I know it's going to curve somewhere around here. My vertex has to be on this axis of symmetry. That's what helps me figure out the vertex. I know it's somewhere on here. Okay, well let's say it was right here. That would be 3 comma, or negative 3 comma 1. Up here would be negative 3 comma negative 5. Here it'd be -3, -1, -3, -4. Okay, so you're kind of seeing the pattern, hopefully, of it has to use -3 because it's on the line x equals -3. Okay, well that means my vertex is -3 comma something. I don't know what the something is though. Okay, well what do we do when we know what x equals and we have an equation? Plug it in. You're trying to find y once again. Okay, and I'll show you in standard form and in intercept form just so you can see that it's the same either way. Standard form, it'd be y equals -3 squared plus 6 times -3 plus 8. If I used intercept form, it would be y equals -3 plus 2 times -3 plus 4. So I'll do standard form first. -3 squared means -3 times -3, which is 9. 6 times -3 is -18, plus 8. 9 minus 18 is -9, plus 8 is -1. Over here, -3 plus 2 is -1, times -3 plus 4 is +1. -1 times +1 is -1. So doesn't matter which way I do it, I get that the y value is -1. And that goes right up here in my vertex. Now I can plot my point. -3, -1 goes right there. And then here is my parabola. Cuts through the x-intercepts and the y-intercept. And then it should curve over here. And that was kind of poorly drawn, so let me see if I can try that again. There we go. That's a little bit better. And you can actually even plot this point reflected. It's 3 away here. I can jump over and put it 1 there because it's got to be a line of reflection. It's got to be a line of symmetry. And then there's my parabola. Notice I didn't do a straight line up. There's no straight line, so if you did that, you were off a little bit too. And there's all the pieces I need for that one. Please ask for help if you do not understand any part of this. Feel free to watch pieces of it again as well.